Hello, everyone. Welcome to our edition of Game Day 1, the show, the playoff edition. The brackets are out. Boys and girls tournament brackets are out today, and 100% on the boys in bracketology. So if you're following all season, you're ready to go. You're ahead of the game. You know who you're playing. You're ready for the postseason. And to help us get ready for the postseason on this show here today, I bring in my man Ryan Moss. So Ryan, thanks for joining me from home here tonight as we get ready. We're on the eve of a snow day, so everyone's going to be watching this on their snow day. So we're going to have probably as big of an audience as we could possibly have.
No, we're looking for great snow day content. All of us are going to be stuck home with our kids, trying to find ways to entertain them, throw them outside, have them shovel the driveway, hopefully. No, hopefully everybody enjoys a little bit of the bracket breakdowns heading into the playoffs, starting later this week with the out bracket action.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you're like us at the Devaney house. 3 children. We've only been outside in the snow one time. My kids didn't love it. Like they were excited to go out there, but they didn't really want to be out there after more than like 5 minutes.
It all depends. I feel like my kids I have 8 and 6-year-old boys. They're daredevils. So if they have an opportunity to go sledding and go fast head first into something, they usually take that opportunity.
Let's go head first into the Class AA bracket here. We'll start with the top of the bracket. No surprises. We had White Plains is your number 1 seed. They'll play the winner of a very good inter-district rivalry matchup between you have R.C. Ketchum and John Jay's Fishkill. And then the 4-5 matchup is going to be North Rockland and Mount Vernon, which is a very interesting matchup. In the other part of the bracket, now the bottom half of the bracket, it is number 3 New Rochelle. Their win over Mount Vernon on Super Bowl Sunday, catapulted them over the number 4 team into the number 3 spot. Ossining, and then you have Mamaroneck and Arlington. There was no number 10 team in it, so that's why you see the NA. It's a bye out of the bracket round, so it'll be Arlington on the road as the number 7 seed. So no surprises, obviously, nothing in terms of really anything there. And what's your first thoughts when you look at that bracket?
Well, first of all, Kevin, if I have a question for you.
Okay.
If a game occurs between New Rochelle and Mount Vernon and nobody sees it, does it happen?
I wanted to see it. I wanted to go, and I was not allowed. But that's a story for another day. That's a story for Twitter. We hashed it out yesterday. It's all over with. But, and you know what's funny? It didn't even seem like New Rochelle and Mount Vernon were really. It was like 45-38. Mount Vernon is one of the highest scoring teams in the section. Scored 35 points in the final game. It just seemed like a weird vibe, almost like a game that didn't happen.
In an empty gym, you're used to it all season. You're going towards the playoffs. You're used to the energy building up, and then you're playing in an empty gym. But we'll move past that. But I got lost in a little rabbit hole with Logan McCormick highlights this weekend. Really fun. So kind of leading into that with obviously White Plains in the 1 seed. First round game might not be the tightest game for them, but where do you see kind of the best first round game coming up in AAA?
I will say, obviously, there's 2 games, right? Really, there's the I'm gonna say the best first round game, the game you want to go to is Ossining and New Rochelle, right? Because when I look at New Rochelle, they were in the conversation of being one of the best teams all season long. And they're facing really an Ossining team that I think is a lot better individual talent-wise than maybe their record shows. New Rochelle, though, it's hard to bet against them because of these seniors. Malik Gasper and Kaz Mirza, these guys have come a long way. They've really improved over the course of the season. They were a team with high aspirations coming into the year. They lived up to it. Had a couple tough losses. I think beating Mount Vernon in the final game of the regular season sort of kind of puts them back on course to make a run at this. But when you look at this Ossining team, they're a team that's they've found a way to be just good enough to lose to some of the really good teams, right? They gave White Plains a scare, who's the number 1 seed. That game alone, that was obviously in their home gym. That says a lot about what this ceiling of Ossining is. And if they come out here and they play like that against New Rochelle, I think that New Rochelle could easily get beat in this game. So to me, that's the best first round matchup.
Got it. And I know, obviously, this might play into that a little bit, but kind of who do you see as maybe the bracket buster in this group? this is a Final Four where I don't know. I know you see Austin potentially beating New York. It's really hard to pick against Chalk in this one, But who's that potential bracket buster?
I've been waiting 26 years to call Mount Vernon the bracket buster. They're normally the number one seed. They're normally the team that everyone's picking to win, and this is finally my chance. But in all seriousness, they go on the road to North Rockland, and they're a different team than they were even 2 weeks ago. I watched them against Mamaroneck in this game, and that guy right there, Nate Edwards, he just keeps getting better and better. He's a senior on this team. He was a guy who he is going to be a very physical, tough matchup. North Rockland defensively with Elijah Barclay and the way this team plays and the way that we saw them last year. I mean, listen, they're the defending section champions in North Rockland and a team that won to the state final last year. And their consolation is now this year as they got Mount Vernon coming into their gym. So to me, I think Mount Vernon is getting better. I would just completely remove Sunday's game. It's almost like, again, I just would like to say maybe it just didn't happen for them. They played really well down the stretch. They beat Mamaroneck at home. They've won some really good games, and they're Mount Vernon. So to me, the bracket buster, I mean, if you're White Plains, I don't know who you want in this, to face at the county center if you're able to make it that far. But to me, Mount Vernon is the most dangerous team because after the season they had with 6 losses, they got nothing to lose now. And that's a dangerous spot for Mount Vernon to be in.
Yeah, and I kind of, going back to the Super Bowl yesterday, it's kind of like, you kind of feel stupid when you bet against Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like when you see that Mount Vernon jersey in the playoffs and, potentially at the county center, it just works.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's a very good comparison, right? It's like, they said about Mahomes, you can't kill him, right? And last year, Mount Vernon gets upset by Scarsdale in the semis. North Rockland goes to beat Scarsdale in the final. It would be a lot. And I'll tell you something, though. If North Rockland is able to win this game, beating Mount Vernon still means something to North Rockland. If they're able to win that, I would be very nervous if I'm White Plains because you get a North Rockland team that's coming in off that win, getting back to the county center where they won 2 games last year, won to the state final. They're another team that I feel like they as a 4 seed could also be a bracket buster, but I'm going to stick with Mount Vernon on that one.
No, this AAA class, I just feel like the level of basketball that's going to be played at the county center is going to be. There's going to be such parity and such talent across the board. I feel like it's not like one standout team like there might be most years. It really seems like it's up in the air. What would what's your call for this bracket?
I'm having a tough time. I even up until the time that we're talking about this, I think any one of, I'll say 5.5 teams can win, right? So I'll say all the 5 seeds and Austin on their best day really could. Austin's going to have a hard time putting all those games together and winning a championship, but they could beat anybody at the top. And even Arlington, it's Arlington being a 7 seed and you think, how good could they really be? But this is a very veteran team. There's a couple football players in this team. They went to the section championship in football. They're a group with confidence, and they know no one's picking them. But if I'm going to pick somebody, I'm going to go White Plains. And it's easy to pick the number 1 seed and say, the number 1 seed is going to win. They have been sort of, they've been the most consistent team. They lose to New Rochelle, only lost this season. But to me, there's just a lot of good mojo with this team in that Spencer Mayfield won his 500th game this year. He's got a team that is a very veteran team. He might be the best player in the section in Logan McCormick. He's got great role players. He's got great depth. And it always felt like if Spencer Mayfield being, a Hall of Fame coach was going to ever have a team that can win a championship, this might be it. But I'll tell you too, man, we talk about mojo, and there's something about Mamaroneck, man. I just, I look at this group and with Plunkett and Cosmo Hardinson, and now they have a healthy Burrell back. Tyrone Carver, this is, they made history this year, Ryan. They won the league championship for the first time ever. We're not talking about it's like 100 years of Mount Vernon basketball. I mean, of Mamaroneck basketball and Mamaroneck being in leagues with teams like New Rochelle and teams like, obviously, Mount Vernon. This is the first time they ever won this league, right? The big boy league of the state where, the team that won the state championship could say was Mount Vernon, and they, maybe the 2 best teams else in the state were White Plains and New Rochelle. And for Mamaroneck to win that, they're riding high going into this Final Four.
Yeah, I don't think people care as much about my opinion necessarily, but I don't know. I have a Mamaroneck circle.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like, and also Mamaroneck, I feel like it's one of those towns where when a team is good, when certain programs start developing, the town comes out. I could see the county center being crazy,
Yeah.
For Mamaroneck, White Plains matchup, right? Like, and that's one thing I noticed. Those two teams didn't play each other all season.
Yeah. No, they didn't play each other. No matchup. Coach Tyrone Carver of Mamaroneck, Coach Spencer Mayfield at White Plains. They're very close. They talk all the time. I don't know when they start kind of ignoring each other's calls here, because it's getting real that they might face each other in a section championship, which all their years of friendship and mentorship in a lot of ways, it's kind of been building for this. And you look at White Plains; they haven't won a section championship this century, so it says a lot. He wants to, in this program, this city wants this championship. Mamaroneck hasn't won a program in any section championship in any century, so they're on a collision course in a lot of ways. We'll see if New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, North Rockland can get in their way.
Yeah.
But this is going to be an interesting bracket, as we said. There's a couple guys. Plunkett, there's like X Factor guys that I really like. I think Plunkett has come on. He seems like he really feeds off Burrell being back. Tavian Tyler, I don't know where Tavian Tyler made all section. I don't think he had as good of a year as he probably wanted to have. He probably should have been a guy who he thought would be like in the 20-point per game scorer. He's not quite there. Mount Vernon guards have a way of elevating themselves in the postseason, so I think Tyler could be someone who just comes along. He's got a lot of that Mount Vernon grit, right? So he's that guard that I think could carry them. And Malik Gaspar, I don't really know what team in AA has a true matchup for Malik Gaspar inside with his size and athleticism. So, if he gets hot, it's going to be all about, it's like the NCAA tournament. Whoever that hot player is that leads the team to a championship, this is what it's going to be.
Well, this is the best thing about all this, right? Like, yeah. I mean, it's like a little warm up for, the big dance, but any single elimination basketball tournament it's the best thing in the world. Anybody can beat any team any day. You have a bad day shooting, like you said, guard play in tournaments like this, can carry a team, right? Mm-hmm. Like the 3-point shooting gets hot. So, I think this is one that this is going to be a fun one to watch, even if you're not from one of these towns or, a prize school.
Yep. Section 1 tournament starts on Thursday in Class AAA. It goes onto the 23rd, and we'll take one more look at the brackets to get you ready for this. 23rd, section semifinals at the County Center on the 28th, and then March 3rd is the championship. So, Ryan, should be fun. Very excited. Hope we can. We'll see you out at some games. I think we're gonna give a camera, strap it on your shoulder. We'll get some extra video on our for the GameDay 1 YouTube page. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon.
This is fun, Kev. Take care.
All right. Well, do some more of these shows, man. This is great. All right, everyone. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.